Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Courtney. I'm Rachel's older sister by 7 years, and I'm going to talk to you about when Rachel passed away. So as most of you probably know, my little sister Rachel passed away on April 3rd at 4:58 or 4:57 p.m. It was a really bad day. I was at work at the time, and I found out through a bunch of texts of people telling me to call me back right away and what's going on with your sister and yada yada yada, and it was not fun. So before I called anybody, I decided to call my mom back, and this is the story of what happened. So on that day at around 5:05, I believe it was around there, I only had a short conversation. It was like less than 4 minutes, and I just called my mom, and I just knew because I talked to her that morning, and Rachel was not doing good. She was weak. She barely could talk. When I told her I loved her, she barely said I love you. She mouthed it to my mom, and my mom had to say it for her, and then she blew me a kiss, and I heard that. But that was all, and she couldn't even hold her phone anymore, and it was bad. So I had a bad feeling because I was going to visit already on that Friday, because this was on a Wednesday, and I just ended up deciding to go early after I found out what happened. So once I got back from break and I saw my text messages, like I said, I ended up calling my mom, and I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say because as soon as she answered, she started crying. And I knew, just hearing, you just know when something bad happens and you hear that person you love bursting into tears, and you're like, oh my God. And all I could say is, she died, didn't she? And we both started crying, and I broke to one of our doctors I work at a dental office, so one of the dentists and my coworker, who was another receptionist I was working at the time. Yeah, so my coworkers decided to come give me a hug, and they're like, I'm so sorry. And the dentist decided, why don't you go home, go see your family. I'll let the girls know, and let the head corporate know, which we usually tell when we need a day off and stuff. And they were so nice about it, and thank you. So this was my journey. I will put in some videos of me at the ferry and me talking to Rachel, because I told her I'll start vlogging and all that, and some of the photos along the way. So this is that. Enjoy.
Hey Rachel, it's currently April 4th, the day after you passed away, and it is currently 7:04, and I look like a wreck. Barely got any sleep. I'm at the ferry, going to see Mama and Dada. Look. But I miss you. I'm gonna try to start vlogging for you. Starting now, since I'm alone in the car. I wish I could give you one last hug. But I will when I see you. I just want you to know that I love you. And I miss you. But I promise I'll do everything I can to keep your dream alive, okay? Love you, Rachel. The ferry's coming in. About to go. Thank goodness. It's definitely tiring though. Hey Rachel, so I'm back on the ferry. I'm heading back to Port Alberni. Got to see you yesterday. In your viewing, you looked really pretty. And it helped me a lot. But I pretty much have half your room in my car right now. No joke. Look. But then I have stuff in the front with me. I have stuff in the trunk. It's a lot. But yeah, so the weekend went okay. A lot of tears. I'm feeling a lot better now than I did, especially seeing you, and you look so peaceful, and you look like you were calm finally. So that was nice yesterday. We went to the funeral home. We know you're getting cremated sometime next week. So right now it's Sunday. They said probably by Wednesday, by the latest, we'll have you cremated and we'll have you back into our arms again on Thursday or Friday. And then everybody's waiting for you, wondering when your funeral is. So I'm keeping everybody updated. We know it's going to be between the 26th to 28th at the Italian Cultural Center in Port Alberni. It's probably going to be on the 27th, but we haven't booked everything yet, and Mom and Dad haven't booked their hotel yet. I tried booking them, but Best Western's booked, so for half the days they wanted, so now they're good looking elsewhere. But yeah, now I'm on the ferry, and I can't really talk to anybody because we're in the middle of the ocean, and text won't go through, phone calls all glitchy, so I thought, why not talk to you? But I'm gonna keep you updated. I'll let you know how things go. I'll make this video, that way you know exactly what's going on. And I love you so much, Rachel. Bye.
So then on that Thursday, I got to Coquitlam around maybe 10 a.m., I think maybe 11 a.m. My aunt and my Uncle Sean were already there. Thank God they were there, because it was just, I couldn't imagine my mom and dad being there by themselves, especially when Rachel passed away. But yeah, so we started crying, we shared stuff. A bunch of people already came by and bought flowers, which was really nice. Yeah, that day we didn't really do much. It was kind of more just talking about Rachel, talking about what happened. It was really difficult. I was kind of a wreck, but we went through her room, kind of went through, because I guess my mom and my sister made a list. Rachel had a list of things where certain people got certain things, so we went through that and pulled out everything that she wanted me, my parents, and Richard to have. And then we kind of left like most of her stuff in her room so her friends could go through and pick what they wanted. And then we kind of took as much private stuff out, that like diaries that I'm sure she didn't want certain people to see. So we pulled those out, and things that were kind of sentimental to my mom, like her artwork and stuff. We kept some artwork in there, but like her like main sketchbooks and stuff, my parents really want to keep, so they could look back at it and all that. But yeah, that was rough. That was really hard going through her stuff, because part of me is like, no, she's gonna be pissed. I'm going through her room. She's gonna, like, as a sister, you're like, she's gonna kill me. Like, I'm going through her stuff. And of course I found her diary and I was like, don't read it, don't read it. Then I saw some cute things about like a boy she really liked, which I'm not gonna say a name, but she'll kill me. I know she'll haunt me forever if I put that in the YouTube video. But I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. They kind of know who they are. But yeah, it was really sweet. And yeah, we just kind of went through her room. We had a relaxing day. People came by, did their condolences, and then that night was kind of creepy, because Rachel's hospital bed that she was in for about a week, that she passed away on, that was still in the living room, was there. And it was, we had company over, and I already said I don't mind sleeping in the living room. And then once the time came to it, I was like, oh god, because it was either I slept on the bed that she passed away on, which was a hospital bed, or I slept on the couch, which the dog sleeps on. And trying to share the couch with the dog is really difficult, because the dog just not eats. The dog just hogs it. The dog hogs everything. He wants to be snuggled. He spans out. It's just, nah, I let the dog have it. And I was like, well, I don't want to sleep on the bed either, because it creeped me out. Because as everybody knows, I was a sister Rachel liked to scare. She brought me to the Fairmont. She wants me to bring to Riverview. She loves scaring the utter poop out of me. So I went, if I slept on her deathbed, what will she do? So I was like, nah, not happening. So I slept on a reclining chair. It was next to the bed, but it was comfy enough that I could fall asleep right away. And actually, that was probably the best sleep I had for the past month, which makes no sense because it was like the day after she passed. But like, I think it was just so much tears, and I was just like, my eyes were so heavy that I just conked out. But yeah, so that was kind of my Thursday. It was not fun at all. It was just kind of going through her room and memory lane and just, it was not fun. We did end up stopping at the funeral home at some point. I don't remember like the exact dates because that whole like span of a week was just like a blur to me. But that day we did go with my Auntie Tracy and my Uncle Sean to the funeral home as well. And then we kind of went over like, this is the box she'll be in when she's cremated. We'll do a viewing on the Saturday, which was 2 days later, which I really wanted to see her that day, but they said that she was like, I guess her skin, I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to gross people out, but since she passed, her skin was starting to turn gray, like she was like, her sunken in and like started decomposing, and they wanted to kind of brighten her up a little bit and look more lively for the viewing. So, which I get, I totally get, but like at the same time, it's my sister and I just want to see her. I don't care what she looks like, I just want to see her. It was really kind of hard not being able to, but I understood where they were coming to too, because if I had that burned into my brain, I probably still would have nightmares. But yeah, so we went over, did the cremation stuff, figured out when she's being cremated. We were gonna do an autopsy because we still, like to this day, we don't know where it came from. We don't know where the melanoma stemmed from. Like we know she had a tumor behind her eye. We know she had brain mets and brain tumors, obviously, like everybody knows. But where that stemmed from, because melanoma is skin cancer, so it shows somewhere. We thought it was her birthmark across her eye because she had a thing on her optic nerve. They tested it, negative. So where it came from, no idea. So first we kind of pushed her cremation a little bit until we could figure out for the autopsy, but then we found out how long it would take for an autopsy, and we didn't have a doctor that wanted to do an autopsy, so we'd have to talk to the doctor, yada 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 yada. It was just like a lot of work to just get it done. So we decided, since I was only in town for a little bit, I wanted to see Rachel's viewing because we would have to get that done right away before she started decomposing, and I still wanted to see her. And long story short, we didn't bother doing the autopsy. But we did do the cremation, which she wanted. She wants her ashes spread at Little Mountain in Parksville. And yeah. But then on Saturday, let's bounce back to Saturday because I'm rambling and just bouncing everywhere. But like, Saturday hits. And that was a rough day. So Saturday we had to do some things like closing accounts, letting like the government know, and like her bank and yada yada yada, and trying to like get her phone closed, like not closed, but I think they were gonna do something with her phone and let them know that she did pass. And it was just a rough day. So Saturday was like the running around day, and then later that day her friends came and went through her room and took what they wanted. And I didn't think it would hit me. I thought that would be like releasing, like take it, I don't want to look at it no more kind of thing, because it was hurting. But like at the same time, like hearing them cry in the room and like seeing how emotional they got, I was just like, don't start, don't cry, because if you cry, I'm gonna cry. And of course I started hearing them talking about her, like nice things, like obviously, but like you know, like why did she have to pass, and like people were like, oh, are you taking this, can I take that, and like some people wanted certain things that weren't in the room but they remembered, but like that my parents want to keep and stuff. So like having to let them know like, hey, that's actually kind of something my mom wants to keep or my dad wants to keep, I kind of felt bad. But at the same time, like just seeing how much love they had for her, it broke. Ooh, okay, I'm trying not to cry, but yeah, it was really touching. They all left with a couple pigs, and sorry, it might be a lot. You're probably gonna see a lot of cuts because I keep breaking down, so sorry about that. And if you hear somebody screaming or talking, my hubby plays games and just all you hear all the time is him yelling at the screen. So sorry about that too. But yeah. Plus my cat Gizmo is having like the zoomies and just boom 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 back and forth, so you might hear that as well. So I apologize. But yeah, so that was the Saturday. their friends came by, and after her friends left, I went to go see my friends Mel and Julia. They're my two best friends. I do almost everything with them. And well, until I moved, now it's kind of hard to see them, but besides the point, I decided to go see them, and it was rough. Like the first little bit I spent with Mel, I was eating like chocolate chip cookies she made, which were delicious. And then my friend Julia came by, and she never saw the YouTube videos, and we were just watching some of them from Rachel. So we showed my friend Julia a bunch of her YouTube videos, and me and Mel are just a wreck. Like, she never saw Rachel's choir perform Hallelujah, and I had that on video. So we're playing it, and me and Mel are just a wreck, and Julia wanted to watch it, and we're just like, turn it off, turn it off. So we decided after a big cry fest, we were gonna go to Brown's social house, and I was just gonna try to keep my mind off things and try to enjoy a night with my friends. And we went to Brown's, and the first thing that came on is Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. Which most of you, if you don't know, that was one of Rachel's favorite songs by Guns N' Roses. And that was the last concert she went to. So that wasn't fun. So I was an utter mess at Brown's social house. And poor waitress and waiter, they're like looking at us like, what's wrong with you guys? Is it like, are you guys okay? And I'm like, yeah. And then I don't think we ever told them that my sister passed. I think we just said it, yeah, just something bad happened today and we're just trying to ignore it and whatever kind of thing, right? Just so they could kind of leave us alone. We didn't want to say it. But after we were at the restaurant, we decided to go back to Mel's. We just hung out for a little bit, listened to some music, talked, and then by that time it was getting late, so we went back home. And then I think that night I was able to sleep in Rachel's room, I believe, and that was a creepy night. Like that night I decided to watch the Emoji Movie, which I never watched, and I thought it looked kind of stupid, so I never saw it in the theater. But I actually didn't mind it. But during the movie, I found out later the next day on Saturday, but that night I didn't know somebody had Rachel's password for like Minecraft. So all during this Emoji Movie, I kept getting Minecraft like achievements popping up. I'm going, what the hell? And it was creeping me out because that's Rachel's favorite bloody game, and she's always playing Minecraft. So I'm like, okay, hi Rach. Like, I was creeped out. And then I decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna turn this off. Creeping me out too much. They kept popping up. Like, I understand 1 or 2 achievements, but I'm talking like an achievement every like 15 to 20 minutes. Like, I don't know who was playing, but like, you're good at Minecraft. Like, it was nuts. So I was like, okay, can't take this no more. Turned off the thing, finished the movie, turned it off, tried to go to bed, and then like it just felt like somebody was lying next to me. It was the creepiest thing in the world. So I was like, okay, let's face away from the window, away from the wall. Let's just face the door. You could see the door. You could see Jasper walking back and forth. It's all good. There's a bit of a light coming in. And I thought that would be fine. But no, even when lying there, I feels like somebody's like wrapping the arm around me. It was creepy. I was like, no, just tell yourself it's Rachel. And that's all. To this day, it's Rachel. I hope to God. I'm not religious, but I hope to God that was Rachel. So that was my Friday night. Creepy, sad, happy, a little bit of everywhere. So my mind was exhausted. I conked out pretty fast. And Saturday came around, and that was hard. Like, that was probably harder than Friday, because that was the day I got to see Rachel, and that was her viewing. We got there early by half an hour, and we were able to see her earlier, which thank God, thank you to the funeral home. But yeah, we went to go see her, and she looked beautiful. Sorry. She was dressed in her blue grad dress. Whew, I didn't think this would be the hard part to talk about, but yeah, she was dressed in her blue grad dress, and we each had a kind of a moment to talk to her. I didn't want to leave the room. Like, she looked so alive and so peaceful. It looked like she was sleeping. Like, I just wanted, like, I kept touching her hand and she was so cold, and I just kept holding her hand, like, hoping that she would warm up and she would talk to me. Like, I was out of my mind. Like, at that point, I think I lost my mind. Like, I was half expecting her to just start talking, and then the lights kept flickering and it was creeping me out, and I was like, she's here. She's here. She can make her body move. Like, after the lights, like, people that don't believe in paranormal probably think I'm crazy right now, but, like, it just kept flickering, and I was like, are you here? And it would flicker a little bit, and I'm like, if your body moves, so help me God, I'm gonna be terrified and never be able to sleep again. Didn't move. Thank God it didn't move. Thank you, Rachel, for not moving your body. But, like, I just kept feeling like she would breathe. Like, I thought she was breathing at some point, and I was like, Rachel, I'll look at her like, are you actually dead? Or, like, are you... I was like, no, she's dead. She's dead. She's dead. Like, and I'm trying to convince myself, and then the thought of knowing that my sister was dead and I'm looking at her dead body right now would trigger me, and then I'd start crying. It was like a happy thing because she looked so peaceful. Then I'd be sad because I realized she was dead, and then it was bad. But most people don't know this, and one of my parents don't know the whole situation. Which, Dad, I'm sorry if you're finding out this way and Mom didn't tell you. But some people, I don't even know if some of Richard's family know this, but me and Richard lost 2 kids. And that was one of the first things I asked her. I said, Rachel, I might have never told you, but are my babies with you? And every light in that room flickered. I said, are you with them right now? And every light, not one, every lamp and the main light flickered. And I burst into tears. Like I am now because I'm a wreck. And sorry for people finding out this way. I thought it's a good thing for people that don't believe in the spirit world. That was kind of my reassurance that Rachel's okay. And my babies I was worried about all this time are okay. And I kind of, to be honest with you, when I left that place, mentally, I felt better. Like, knowing that she flickered, and at one point we were all together, and I knew it wasn't crazy, because I was like, okay, maybe it's just my mind. Maybe I'm just seeing this flickering thing, right? So once we were all together, we all just sit in this room, the light flickered again. And it was creepy because I was just joking around with her. Like, I was saying, like, hey, by the way, can't find your charger. Or not the charger. I couldn't find my Nintendogs because I gave her my Nintendogs game for Nintendo DS. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, hey, by the way, where's my Nintendogs? Do you know where my Nintendogs? They're probably dead by now, but, like, do you know where the game is? And the light flickered. We're all laughing, and then we looked at it like, what? My dad saw it, her friends saw it. My mom was out talking to some funeral person, but, like, we're looking at each other like weird. And then I knew it, because I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Somebody else saw the light flicker. And that just made me feel better. I'm like, my babies are okay, Rachel's okay. And then I left that day feeling great. Like, me and my mom even went shopping that day. We went to go get our, like, I got a dress that I wore for the funeral. My mom got her funeral attire. I got new bras. It was like a wonderful day on Saturday, and I just felt overall happier. And then Sunday came, and then I had to go head back to the island. I was packing up my car, loaded car. Like, I didn't realize I had so much stuff from Rachel. Most of it was like, hey, take these photo albums with you and start scanning. Like, there was a big tote of photo albums. There was like the pregnancy pillow that took up a lot, like the drone, her MacBook, her camera I'm recording on right now, like just a whole bunch of little things that was just kind of thrown in the car, right? And then of course my luggage for the few days I was there. It was a lot. So I went home, I unpacked everything. I immediately started on the slideshow because like my mind's like I needed to keep myself occupied or else it was not gonna happen. Like I was just a mental case. Like at the moment I had free time to myself, I broke. So I just constantly like even my coworkers will know, like I just constantly have to do something, and if I'm not doing something and I'm just sitting home, I can't function. So like I'm always like, they used to always say, hey, why don't you take the extra day off? You could use the day off. Courtney, your sister passed away, take the day off. And they're constantly giving me days off just so I can relax. And I can't take them, like emotionally. I can't sit at home and then just like be surrounded by all these things that remind me of her. Like it hits me. Like I've even put away some of the stuff that's like not over, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like just remind me too much of Rachel. Like I just had to kind of put her away. But yeah, so we started the slideshow. Long story short, we started the slideshow, and it was a bunch of photos of like when she started not grad, but like when she started school, and like the photos of like before her surgery, during her surgery, when she shaved her head, kind of stuff. Like we had those photos just lined up from birth to that, and it was hard like trying to organize all that and seeing like her being like skinny, and then she got skinnier, but then the steroids kind of made her gain weight, and then she went skinny again, and it was just like it was bad. And she had steroids for treatment. She had it, I think it was for seizures. I don't know exactly, because she started getting seizures at some point because of the brain tumors. But if you guys want another video of kind of what was all going on with Rachel, I can, but that's kind of what happened. So we started the slideshow. Took a couple weeks to get done, but we finished it. I did the little booklets that everybody, I'm sure people that came to the funeral probably have them, those little booklets I made out. We just printed them off at Staples, but we got those set up, and yeah, then the funeral happened, and it was we kind of winged it. We knew the general idea of how we wanted things to go, but we didn't have it planned. So it was kind of winged. But on August 27th at 2 p.m. was her funeral. I was there at 12 setting things up and getting things ready and making sure the slideshow worked, which it glitched. And just a heads up to everybody that watched this, when we watched it, no glitch. Not even a single glitch. And every time it glitched, I was like, oh no. Like people didn't really care, but like personally, I was like, I checked this. But besides the point, it went good. The slideshow made everybody cry, which I already knew because I couldn't get through the first couple songs without bloody being a mess. That's why you'll see in a second my speech, I had to get in there right away. Because if I waited for too many people to talk, I wasn't gonna talk. Like I wouldn't have been able to. So anyway, without further ado, which most of you are probably already waiting for, this is some of her speeches from her funeral, including Pastor Eric, my Auntie Michelle, myself, my Auntie Ellen, my Uncle Sean. I believe I have my Uncle Sean in there. I don't remember if I kept videotaping or not. And followed by performances from her friends and also choir mates, and they sang Miss You by Blink-182 and Hallelujah. So enjoy.
With her, she'd go with the talking. She had that kind of personality even from that early age, right? She was just open and a friendly heart, and she was willing to give of herself even at that young age. And then I remember her coming through our church yard sale year after year. She would be fascinated by all the junk we had on sale there, but you know, for her as a little kid, those were treasures. And again, we'd have a little conversation, and she would have that beautiful smile on her face, and we'd be able to engage in that friendly way that she just had with everybody. And then, it sometimes happens in life that you kind of, you get busy and your lives kind of diverge, and that was kind of how it was. I didn't see Rachel for many years, or at least I didn't see much of her in some of those middle years. I saw her again, and then my next memory anyway was of her walking home from high school across the church parking lot. We kind of saw each other there one day. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you know someone at a young age, and then you see them when they're grown up, and you kind of do that double take, and you say, is that really them? It was kind of like that with Rachel, but at the same time, still that beautiful, radiant smile that I could see. And still willing and open to kind of greet me and to have a little conversation, to stop and to pause, to take a moment for that little moment of friendliness there. And I always treasured that because, again, that's not always the case with a lot of people, and especially sometimes with the age difference. But she was comfortable with that and always kind of with that open personality with everybody. And then, as she got ill, we would get together every once in a while. I remember the evening that her and Tammy came over to the church, and we had a little conversation about how she was doing and what she was going through. And it's at that point that she kind of told me about her blog or her online journal, or that she was writing about her experience. And I remember kind of being blown away by that. I mean, not only did I know her for the warm and open person she was, but I read what she had written, and here was someone who was willing to kind of put themselves out there like that, who had the courage to kind of share that experience publicly. I think it was kind of therapeutic for her, but at the same time, I think she believed she was helping others, right? By sharing her experience and helping others to kind of navigate through what they might have been going through as well. And how warm and how touching and how real what she was writing really was. I just thought that was her all over, right? Just no fear, just wanting to kind of be out there for people and to share herself with others. I would come over once in a while, and every once in a while we'd have a prayer. And I remember those times, the short conversations; those were precious to me. But I think the memory that will last with me is a number of months ago, when she had a break in her treatment. She was actually doing a little better and feeling a little better, and feeling a little stronger. And I can remember being over the house, and it was in the front yard, and I think Jasper was kind of doing Jasper's thing, and she was kind of chasing after him. And she had some energy at that time. And of course, Tammy was being her usual good, regular mother bear self, and wanting to keep her safe and protect her and make sure she doesn't catch anything, or she kept healthy. But Rachel was full of life, and you could see even at that point, even at that little break in her treatment, she had plans, and she would talk about her plans and her dreams and her hopes and the things she wanted to do, and she was just bursting to kind of get at it. And I think that kind of summed her up for me, right? As much as she was limited by what she was going through and what she was experiencing, she was not going to let any of that get in her way. Certainly not going to get in her way of her dreams and her hopes. And even though none of that really came to fruition, that moment just spoke to me of her openness, of her courage, right? Courage in the face of what she was going through, and her gregariousness, right? Her openness. She couldn't stop talking that day. I can remember that, right? We just kept chatting on and on and on, and she was kind of sharing all of this stuff, and just again her life, her love of life, just kind of bursting out from her, and again, her friendliness, her openness, and that smile, even that afternoon, was on her face, and that kind of sums her up for me in many ways. I'll never forget that afternoon, and I'll never forget that time together with her. And I hope that kind of remains my lasting memory of her. Just a young woman, full of life, full of love for life, and just wanting to do all she could with the little bit of time she had. And as things went on, as things progressed, I know that that energy and that drive came out in different ways. Stories I heard, little anecdotes, how she would want how she would want her friends to remember her and how she would talk about what she wanted to happen on a day like this, that kind of thing. She was able to kind of accept that eventually, but still say, life goes on. Well, I might not be there with you, right? I will be there with you in spirit, right? And in all the ways you remember me, I will live on among you, right? And I really do feel that, and I think we all kind of feel that today here. Jesus was once asked, what's the greatest commandment? Or, what's the best way to live? I guess you could translate it. He said two things. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind. And then he said, love your neighbors as yourself. When you talk about neighbors, it wasn't just the people who lived in the house next to you. It was friends, it was family, it was those other people who come across our path in life. It was animals, it was nature, it was everything around us that God had created, right? Love all of that. And when I think of those words, I think of Rachel. I think she was a young woman with a lot of love in her heart. Love for friends, for her family, love for life, love for music, love for all those things in life that she treasured, love for this place, right? Port Alberni, and all that it meant to her. And I think we could probably learn a lot about how to live our lives and face our challenges from what we can remember about her and from our memories and the lessons she taught us in her life. So I'd like to share just a few prayers at this time to begin our time. And I will end each prayer with the words, Lord, hear our prayer. And when I say that, I just invite you, as you feel comfortable and as you're able, to just respond, Amen. Okay? So when I say, Lord, hear our prayer, as you feel moved, please, I invite you to respond, Amen. Okay? So let us pray. Loving God, you created everything that exists. You created a world. You created us. You gave everything life. And you said everything you made was good. And so we thank you for Rachel today. And for the life you gave her. And for everything that was good in her life. We thank you for the goodness she shared with all of us gathered here, and with so many others. Help us to remember all of her goodness, and to treasure the beautiful memories of her that we will never forget. Lord, hear our prayer. Amen. Loving God, you know that the pain of losing a child, a sibling, a family member so young, that pain can be so deep. There's no denying it, no hiding it, no running away from it. And that's the pain that Tammy and Sean and Courtney and their family are going through right now. But there is comfort. There's comfort in friends and in family and in others who care. So Lord, surround Tammy and Sean and Courtney and their whole family in the days ahead with people who care. Use us to help them know that they are so loved. And through us, help them to find some peace in the midst of what they're going through. And when others aren't around for them, Lord, somehow fill them with your peace, which is beyond our understanding. Lord, hear our prayer. Loving God, it's just as tough to lose a friend, and Rachel was such a good friend to many of us. Our hearts ache and our minds are filled with questions. It just doesn't seem fair that her life ended so soon. But the Bible promises that you do not will these things. In fact, your heart breaks too at times like this. And you walk with us through every dark valley we face. So be our help today. Help us to let go of what we cannot change or understand. And help us to move forward together, supporting each other, loving and caring for each other. and to find hope for each day. Lord, hear our prayer. Loving God, we just celebrated Easter, and we remembered on that day how Jesus rose from the dead that all might have eternal life. We know that Rachel was your child too. So hold her in your arms of mercy and care. Until that day, we look forward to being together with her again in that place where death and mourning and crying and pain is no more, and where there's nothing but life forever and ever. Lord, hear our prayer. And finally, loving God, we thank you for the unique and special and beautiful person Rachael was. Each of us knew her in our own way. Each of us was blessed by her in some way. So help our memories of her to inspire us to live our lives to the fullest. She had so many wonderful qualities, Lord, her courage, her love of music, her feistiness, her friendliness. Let those things we admire most about her to live on in the way we live, to live on in the way we face our challenges, to live on in the way we care for each other. Lord, hear our prayer. Into your hands we commend all these prayers, Lord, trusting in your grace and mercy. In the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. So at this time, I guess we just want to open the podium to anyone who'd like to come forward. Some of you have prepared words, some of you have prepared music. This is a celebration of Rachel, so come forward as you feel so moved. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thinking about what to say for the past few weeks, and it's gone through my mind over and over again. I found out it brought me to difficult emotional stages, from anger to disbelief to hate, and finally today the stage was love. This morning I knew it doesn't have to be perfect what I say. I just say it with love. A few weeks ago, I laid beside sweet Rachel. She asked me not to touch her because she hurt. So I just tried to be still. We talked off and on, but she slept a lot. My body trembled uncontrollably. Rachel, with her weakened hand, reached over and wrapped my arm around hers, squeezed my hand ever so gently, and then whispered to me, "Auntie Michelle, why are you shaking so much?" The smart me said, "Because I'm old." The wiser Rachel said, "You're not old, Auntie Michelle. You're scared. Please don't be." Rachel told me to be strong, live life, be happy. She told me to forgive. She told me to remind myself, we only have one chance. Rachel loved life. She was passionate about music, sports, writing, and art. Rachel had a way of always introducing herself and making a friend, young or old. She never missed a day to take a moment to brighten someone's day. She never judged anyone. Not one time Did she ever not tell you she loved you? Every visit, every phone call, every text ended with it. To Courtney. Your bond with your sister is so great. It will live on forever. To Tammy and Sean, your strength, your love for Rachel has not gone unnoticed. I praise you and I am so incredibly proud of you. Cherish every memory, Rachel is free. To my beautiful Rachel, I am honored and privileged to have spent the past 18 years of my life knowing and having you as my niece and my godchild. You were a humble lady full of love, strength, and encouragement to us in life and now in death. You wouldn't want us to focus on sadness and sorrow, but to continue to love and support each other no matter what the situation is. Watch over us. Yes. I love you.
I think I should do it now. Sorry, not going to be an utter mess pretty quick. So, those of you who don't know me, I'm Grace. I'm Courtney, my sister. I wrote it down because I know I was going to start crying. My little sister passed away around 5 p.m. on April 3rd after battling stage 4 melanoma with brain mets. She will get caught for about a year and a half. And God was hard to find out when she passed. I'm sure my mom would agree. Sadly, I was at work. I just got off break. And I heard Marianne's Trench on the radio. And I went, nope, can't do it. Walked back inside. And I had text message that I missed, phone calls that I missed. I just knew right away. I called my mom. All I had to say was she died, and she and we both broke. Found out later that she sent Richard to come get me. So, and to this day, to be honest, it still doesn't make any sense that she's gone. Step up there. But when she's out of pain, that's good. Me and my sister were 7 years apart, but we acted like we were best friends. We loved going to the mall and shopping, mostly Hot Topic because that was her favorite store. We couldn't get her out. Our chapters, she could spend hours there looking at books. We used to play Minecraft almost every single time she was over at my house or my parents. Seeing who can make a better house, which of course she usually won, because she used to cheat all the time. And look at the house ahead of time and start building. That's besides the point. And I still remember the time when we were here last. She was still weak. My mom was down at the dock. We just got a donut. I'm eating my donut. Perfectly fine. She decides to take a picture of some pigeons. Scares the utter poop out of them. They fly towards my face and her cackling. I scream. I hear my mom laughing down at the dock. That is the best, one of the best memories I have probably of her. She also loved the paranormal, for those who don't know. She loved to scare me all the time, bringing me to haunted locations to see my reactions. She used to play creepy ghost voices and pretend she didn't know what was going on. When I tried to sleep, you name it. Don't get me wrong, she wasn't always evil. But she was also very compassionate and caring. She cared a lot about her friends and family. Would do anything and everything in the power for them. She used to love buying things and watching your reaction. That was one of her favorite things to do. Probably one of my best memories I have was when me and her used to sleep together every Christmas Eve, just staying up, trying to guess what we got. My mom usually gets up early about 3:30 before, I don't know why, but she does. So we would wait till she wakes up, and then we always have to wait for my dad, but we usually just woke her up and made sure we were loud enough so he would wake up. So, and then we would open presents. Also all the times we would text each other funny pictures of my dad. Yeah, lots of ripped pants, everything. No big deal. Or she would send pictures of quotes if she was feeling bad.
send me quotes if I was having a bad day. She would send me a quote to relate our funny picture of a dog or a cat or Jasper doing something stupid. Also, we would Snapchat Gizmo all the time. She would also stay with me at my old apartment. We'd walk to the movie theater, go play arcade games, get popcorn, have Tim Burton marathons, Jurassic Park marathons, more Minecraft, Mario Party, Harry Potter marathons. We always had to get Domino's, and it always had to be plain cheese pizza, or she would not eat it. What else would we do? I'm trying to think. I couldn't wait till she couldn't get better though. One of the plans was she was going to come see my new apartment, and we were going to go down to Harvard. But we didn't get to do that. But honestly, Rachel is one of the most loving, creative, and caring persons in the world. Words cannot even begin to describe how much she would be missed. I feel like we have so much left to talk about, so many funny pictures to share with my dad, so many more inside jokes to create. I know she was important to each and every one of us in this room. And I will leave you with one last thought. When you go home tonight, hug your family a little longer. And don't forget to say you love them. Because you never know when that last day is going to hit. So I never got to tell Rachel just how much, how important she was to me. I know I was going to be there on Friday, a couple days after she passed. And sometimes I regret not taking those extra couple days off. And learn to appreciate your siblings no matter how mean or annoying they could be, even if they like to scare you, like Rachel did for me.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rachel's auntie. I'm Tammy's sister. When I heard the news at work that Rachel passed away, it was around 5. I shed a million tears and I wanted to break everything in sight. I cried the night away and I flew home first thing in the morning. Who was there with me for that moment? Rachel sang this song in choir at school. She sang it to me a few times too. Rachel, you have a grace, a beauty, and you have a heart that goes with it. It's been a tough year for you and your family. I'm glad you are not suffering. And I know you are an angel in heaven with loved ones around you. Rachel, you told me that your mom and dad are the greatest people in the world, and they love me so much, and I'm the most luckiest girl. She had a goal to save enough money to send. She wanted to send her family off to New Zealand. I hope one day you guys can take that trip and see it through the eyes of Rachel. When I heard Rachel had cancer, I asked myself why. Why someone so young? I'll never know that answer. But I have to believe there's something bigger out there that we just don't understand. Sorry, I'm trying to flip my pages, they're stuck. Rachel and I talked lots after her first surgery, and she had so many wants and goals as any young person does. I wanted to give her the tangible things, or something more to love. But in the end, nothing else matters than the greatest love of the mother, the father, the sister, the extended family, the kindness of friends and loved ones. Honestly, that is all that matters in life. Rachel, I love you with all my heart. You did inspire every one of us every single day with your smile, your caringness, and we'll never forget that. And one thing I want you to know, that we'll never be afraid and we'll never give up. And it doesn't matter. We need to live on and we need to have fun. And the one thing that Rachel used to always say at the end on her YouTube is adios, bitchios, which I feel is see you later, Mom.
Okay, I'm blind as a bat. If Rachel can talk for the school, for Terry Fox Assembly, about Yeah, sure. She could do that in front of all these people. I should be able to get through this.
That was 3,000 to the speech.
Wow.
Don't judge me on my glasses. I remember Rachel, who was born in Vancouver, August 13th, 2000, having a massive dark hair and beautiful blue eyes. We would get compliments on her whenever we would go out. Her teachers and principals would tell us what a well-behaved child she was and was a kind, caring, and giving person. One thing I'm happy I did for her as she was fighting cancer was contact 604 Records along with Courtney and managed to have a meet and greet with Miranda Stretch in their recording studio. Anyone who knew Rachel well knew they were her favorite band. We got to hear some of their new songs that would eventually wind up on their new album. She looked back on that day as one of the best days in her life. I found it very hard to see her struggling with cancer and wanted to take her away so badly so she could achieve all of her goals and dreams. Although she did manage to accomplish a lot and inspire so many people in her short-lived life, I love and miss her so much. I have lots of memories of her as well, photos and videos I'll cherish. I'm so sorry, Rachel. You were a gift from God to us. I know you're not in pain and suffering anymore, and heaven is another angel. Say hi to Nanny for me. Love, Padre.
This is all this. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lee Garrett. I first met Rachel in Mr. Pope's math class, and this is my second time around trying to pass math, and I didn't really want to talk to anybody. I kind of wanted to keep to myself, and that kind of didn't work out too well. She kind of cornered me, and she just kind of had this way about her that didn't matter who you were, didn't matter what your background was, didn't matter if what your color was. She just always wanted to be a friend. And I have this one memory that I keep thinking about, and I was sleeping in, and we had Mr. Pope first period, and I was sleeping in, and I got this text from Rachel, and she was like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm sleeping," and she said, "Well, Aaron and I are playing Cards Against Humanity. You're late for class." And I don't know why, but I was more excited that they were playing Cards Against Humanity without me than I was be sleeping. So I actually went to class just to play Cards Against Humanity. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, Mr. Pope was not happy with us. But she made that class a lot of fun. And the day I found out that she had passed, I live in Calgary now, hence the whole get up I got going on. That day was gotta be the most beautiful day in Calgary that I've ever seen. It was warm, beautiful, and just blue sky above me. And I remember the walk home was just beautiful. And it was that night that I got a text from my friend Kat saying, "You might want to sit down. You might want to be away from your buddy." And I was like, "Uh-oh." And she told me, and I just had to sit down for a minute of silence. Because she is a phenomenal soul. And I've never met anybody kind of personality she had. To Rachel's parents, you guys had a phenomenal daughter. She was one of a kind. She truly was. To her siblings, Yeah, she loves paranormal and she loves to scare people. I can agree with that. She loves chapters, is what me and her always talk about. We always talk about books and whatnot. She's a phenomenal person. You guys were the one lucky family to have her. So I just wanted to come out from Kyra to make all this way just to say my thanks to you guys for having her, because she was a phenomenal person. And I'm sorry for your loss.
Hi. We were Rachel's friends from high school, and Rachel loved choir. It was the thing she loved. We decided that we would sing a couple songs today because I think she would have liked that. Because choir is the best part of the day for us, and me and Ariel and Rachel would all sit together on the rises. We make jokes about songs, and it's just the best part of the day in high school. And so the two songs we're going to sing. The first one is I Miss You by Blink-182. Obviously, her favorite band is Mariana's French, but her second favorite band was Blink-182. And her favorite movie, as most of you probably know, she really loved Nightmare Before Christmas. And there's a reference to that movie in that song, and I was like, oh my gosh, you need to sing that. And the other song that we're going to sing is Hallelujah. So, thanks.
Darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
saw that. I was gonna try to put the slideshow in, but it's way too big. So if anybody wants the slideshow, I do have it on my computer. I do need to have it by USB. I can't just send it by email. I've tried, but it's 2 gigabytes. Well, it's about 1.76 gigabytes. So if you have a 2 gig USB or bigger, then you could come to my place or whatever, and I could just scan it in and have it on that USB for you, and then you could have it for whenever. I don't have a CD-ROM because Richard builds computers and he never put one in because we don't need it. So I would only be able to put on a USB, but you could always burn it on a disc once you have it on a USB if that's what you want. And if you want, I think my mom was potentially going to make a couple copies, so you could always ask her as well because she has a copy. But yeah, so other than that, I love you, Rachel. I miss you, and I hope I did a good job on your video because this is my first video. So sorry to everybody out there if this was an utter mess or failure. But, yeah. And I'll try to keep updated and post. I might make my own channel because this is kind of fun. And when you're bored, it's kind of nice to talk to somebody even though it's a camera. But yeah. So like Rachel always says, adios, bitchios.